All right. Hello, everyone out there in Facebook world. Welcome to this edition of WTF Live. And today we have a special episode. We are going to be talking about awnings.
Whoop, whoop.
Alrighty.
And not just any awnings, because we
No.
did have an episode about awnings already, and those were residential retractable awnings. And today we're delving even deeper into the topic and talking about the freestanding awnings. And you guys, I've seen the pictures. I put together this presentation, and my mind is blown.
Yes.
So you want to be here for this, and you want to see what we have put together for you.
All right. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kim. I work for Window Works. We're located in Livingston, New Jersey. We are an awning and window treatment retailer, and we are also open to the trade. And if you have any questions or anything on window treatments and awnings in the New York, New Jersey area, we are the ones to call.
You sure are. And if you are in the Philadelphia area, then my company, Vitalia Inc., is your go-to one-stop shop resource for either custom window treatments or awnings as well. So Kimberly and I are here every Friday afternoon, hanging out, chatting about window treatments and awnings, all for your pleasure and entertainment, as well as lots of knowledge and really good stuff. So here we go.
All righty.
Oh, you know what? It would be good to start my images on Instagram. Here we are.
Okay, so this is an example of a Genius awning. So what this is a 2-bay Genius awning, and it's a retractable roof system. So this particular one is the posts are made from wood. So those, you do have to treat those. So that's like a side note. So a lot of times you could do powder coated metal, but this frame, the client opted for wood. So you have to, like anytime you have a wood deck or anything, you just have to make sure that you maintain that. So that's like a little side note and caveat. But with this particular awning, it is a retractable roof system. So it's great about this. It's able to handle rain, not snow, but rain. So if you're outside and you want to be able to sit outside and not have to worry about coming in if it starts raining, unlike a regular retractable awning that cannot take the wind and rain, this is the kind of product that you want to go to. We have a lot of clients that will put this up, and it's almost creating like an outdoor living room space from their patio.
So it's kind of like, unlike the retractable awning. So let me just kind of set the stage here, kind of step back for a second. And for context, with retractable awning, it is like a shade, essentially, if you can think of even an inside shade, and it's attached to your house. And when it's retracted, it is, you know, for all intents and purposes, we'll call it flush with the house. Whereas what we're talking about today are those structures that are permanent, attached or not attached to the house. In this particular case, this one is attached. And this is where the desire is to have something constantly out there, and for the purpose of using it in any weather, in any season. So this is short of building an addition, which will cost you way, way, way more. This is kind of like that sort of an in-between step, right, Kim?
Yes, and the only thing this won't hold is snow, because snow gets very heavy, but it will handle the rain load. And what we also do is there are gutter systems that you put on there, so it could also filter the water and things like that. So you don't have to worry about that. And with this, like Vita was saying, with a retractable awning where it rolls back into its own roller tube, the fabric folds back almost like a Roman shade. So like, to speak window treatment jargon to understand it, a Roman shade folds up into itself, kind of like you see the one behind me where it folds into itself. This folds back into itself. So it doesn't roll into a tube. So when it retracts back, it will sit up, you'll see it. So it will pleat back essentially to the house.
And also something to note here, the fabric here is not quite your Sunbrella indoor outdoor type of fabric that you use on the awning. In order for this awning to be able to sustain the rain, this fabric is a lot more heavy duty. It's thicker, and also it almost feels a bit rubbery. So if Sunbrella still feels like fabric, but heavy duty fabric, this is more of like has sort of like a rubbery treatment and a rubbery effect to it. But it looks like a fabric. So if you're looking at the roof of it, it still looks like a fabric.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, awesome. All right, next.
So this again is the example of that same Genius awning, but here we did a drop-down solar screen shade. So if you really want to take it to the next level, depending on the angle of which the sun comes into your backyard, so you have protection over the top, and then this way it gives you protection if the sun is coming down on an angle. Because a lot of times with a retractable awning, it only covers a good majority of your patio, but as the sun travels, as you know, sometimes if you're unfortunately that person that's sitting at the end of the table that can still get blasted with the sun at that strange angle, you can add a solar shade to it to help protect from the angles and things like that. So this client, this is a single bay, and what they opted for was a solar screen to come down.
And when you say a single bay, that means a single roller shade. It's not double or anything.
And it's all like where the other one previously you had almost like two geniuses next to each other. This is just one genius going across.
Mm-hmm. And so Kim, tell us, is this roller shade, is this motorized?
Yes, all of this is motorized. So if you are familiar with solar screen shades, like you do for the interior, this is it's the same concept. This is an exterior solar screen shade that we added to the Genius awning. What's great about it is that it could expand the width. So you see there aren't any seams or anything, and you can really make it when you go to the exterior side of things. It could just be one big shade going across.
Mm-hmm. And when it's rolled up, then it's just rolled up into a cassette, just like any other interior shade would.
Correct.
And that cassette is anywhere between 3 and 4 inches. For this side, I would assume it would be more like 4 inches or so in the headrail.
I think it's a little larger because of the size of it. So sometimes with the exterior cassettes, it all depends on the size of the roller tube. So it's the same concept like with the inside. So the wider and the longer you go, the bigger the fascia and everything gets. But with something like this, proportionately, it won't look strange.
Right. And so when the client wants to have this completely exposed, then at the touch of the button, the roller screen rolls up and the roof stacks back onto
Correct.
itself.
Yep. So then you could just have that kind of pergola look. And what's nice is that you can determine, it doesn't have to be, it's not like an all closed or all open. You can stop it at any section that you want to. And the same thing with the shade.
And talk to us, Kim. I'm noticing that the roof fabric is light and the shade is black. Talk to us about that.
So that was the customer's decision to go that route. So usually the Genius fabrics at the top are going to be like the cream color, but you could pick in terms of the exterior, they opted for the black to match. Like you can see how they have the black wrought iron furniture. So they went for that kind of a look there.
Nice. Okay, now this is something different.
So this here, so if you have a pool in your space or an area of your yard that you have lounge chairs and you want some kind of shade and it's not necessarily an umbrella. So this is a stationary shed roof awning that we did.
What's it called again? Let's not shed roof.
It looks like a shed roof awning. So what we did here is, this is for a town pool. And they wanted to shade some of the areas for the lounge chairs that they have right around the pool. So we did the posts and we powder coated them in the blue so that it matched with the rest of the colors that they had in the space. And then we did the blue fabric that goes over it. So we take that fabric on and off every year for them. And it just gives, so it just gives a little bit of a shaded area to that lounge area. So this is something to keep in mind. A lot of times when people think awnings, they think that it's necessarily attached to the house. In this case, this is an example of something that we can do in order for you to shade areas that are not necessarily attached to the home.
I mean, truly as a self-sufficient, a freestanding awning.
Yeah. And then this way you can, if people want to sit around the pool, but they don't necessarily want to sit and have the sun on top of them, this is a good solution.
Very cool. And so how interesting, this also showcased, Kim, that you guys service not just the residential clients, but a lot of commercial clients as well.
Oh, yeah, especially on the awning side. We'll get into that whole that's a whole nother episode, but we do a lot of genius awnings for restaurants. And there's a lot you can do on the commercial side. So if you have commercial projects or you own a restaurant and you need to figure out outdoor dining right now, give us a call. We can totally
especially right now. And you've said the word genius awning several times. Genius is the brand name. It's not because they're genius. Yes. They are, but also it's a brand name.
Yeah. It's when you're dealing with Durasol, it's a Durasol, KE Durasol Genius Awning. So that's the name. Like every, hunter has duet, silhouette, and things of that nature. That is the KE name for that particular retractable roof awning.
Nice.
Okay, so this is a WeatherMaster awning that we did, and this is over someone's grill area of their patio. So there's another slide coming up, and then you'll see what I mean when we jump ahead to the next slide. But with this, this client wanted to be able to sit outside, that's a bar area as well, and grill and have shade. So we installed all these posts and came up, it's an A-frame at the top. You can't see because the fabric is covering it. So as you can see, some of the posts are on the ground, and then we did some of the posts that attach right to that half wall of their patio. So you're able to do that. So you wouldn't want to put the post right in front of that half wall, because then you're losing a lot of space and you're also cutting the shade. Right. So they opted for to do them right on the half wall, or you also have the option if you wanted to extend it to the other side of the wall. But with this type of awning, it can hold up to rain, but it cannot hold up to snow. And unfortunately, the client, the first year that they had it, they didn't want to take down the fabric, and we had a big snowstorm and the whole thing collapsed.
No.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So
what happened?
We had to redo it. And so, yeah. So when you have things like this that can handle rain, they cannot handle snow. So we take the fabric on and off every year. It's a service that right around the springtime, we give them a call. We're like, hey, you ready for us to come out?
Yeah, and it's like a service contract, which is great.
Yeah. And then every fall we take it down, and they keep it up almost to November, because you can really sit out there and still enjoy your patio up until it gets really cold.
And so what was the reason that the customer didn't opt in for the Genius awning here?
At the time, this project is a couple years old. I want to say it's probably, let me think back. It might be about 10 years old. So the Genius wasn't really an option at the time. So they went for this. Okay,
so all these new things that are still coming out on the market, and it's like this is why the awning specialists are what they are, because we have to keep on top of all these new technologies and new product introductions and what's available and what's not. I mean, it's like a whole different area of expertise.
And also, too, from a budget standpoint. So this is going to be less than, say, a Genius awning. So if you want to have this covered, this is another way to go.
Nice. So Genius is the awning that is functional. It retracts back and forth. And this is more of a stationary awning where the fabric needs to be put on in the beginning of the season and taken off for the winter because of it cannot sustain the snow.
No, it cannot. So please it broke my heart when we saw the pictures of the awning collapsed and everything.
I mean, we can get some serious snowstorms here in the Northeast.
Yeah, and it was after it was like a big blizzard that we had. So I think we got probably 27 inches, something crazy like that. So
we do get those for sure.
Okay, so what you're seeing here, this is a Tempo frame with two awnings attached to either end. So Tempo frame is going to be a U-shaped frame that we drill into your patio, into the ground, and then it allows us to attach any type of awning structure, whether it's a retractable awning, a Genius and whatnot, to it, so that this way it can open and close. So this kind of reminded me of they had them in Portugal when I was visiting my family during a feast, and they had these awnings that retracted back and forth. It was the first time I saw this years and years and years ago. And then it was really cool when I saw that we did it for a client here. So this gives you the option to be able to shade certain parts of your patio and really extend it, because awnings, retractable awnings, only go so far in terms of projection.
Right.
So with having this double retractable system, it allows you to shade more of your patio, and then you can decide, do I want the back half only to have shade and, you know, have the front one closed, or do I want to have it double, or the front half and the back half? It's almost like having like a top down, bottom up shade, you know?
That's funny. Front half. So okay. So let me just make sure that I get this. So,
Yeah.
there's in the picture we're seeing the front portion of the awning.
Mhm.
It retracts. It goes back
Mhm.
and it moves forward, right?
Yep.
And then the part of the picture that is not as easily to see, but what's in the back that's close to the house, does that portion also retracts back
Mhm.
and forth? And
So
they retract independently, or they?
you can
Okay.
do them. So it could be like, it could be the front one can go out, you know, both of them could go out. It's like when you're programming roller shades in a house. Do you want,
Yeah.
which one do you want on channel 1, 2, 3, 4, all,
Mhm.
you know, and whatnot. So yeah, so that's another option if you want to, you know, be able to, like a top down, bottom up. You can really position it to wherever you want, and it expands how much of your patio you can cover.
And the back shade, is it attached to the house just like any
Nope.
retractable awning would be?
So it's all attached. So it's like a U-shaped frame, and they're
Okay.
all attached to that. So if this is your frame, right? You have one awning that goes out this way and
Uh-huh.
another awning that goes out that way.
Very cool. And not
Yeah.
attached, therefore freestanding, not attached to the
Attached
house,
to the
just
house. Yeah.
really.
So this way it gives you options, and it's not necessarily something that it's like, oh, I have to attach it to my house. It's like, no.
And what do you attach it to? To the ground? And in this case,
It
to
gets
the patio.
Yeah, this got, and what the thing to keep note of this is that the base of it, because you could imagine the weight that you're asking it to hold, the base is pretty large, so you want to keep that
Yeah.
in mind. So in order to sustain this, it has to have the plate and everything else, and the base and whatnot. So you want to keep that in mind, that it does take up a little bit of space. As you can see, like in the picture, they have the chairs kind of sitting around it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely something that, you know, if this is another way that we can go.
And again, this kind of what this brings up for me is that this is a sort of an in between way of not having anything,
Mm-hmm.
or having just a retractable awning, or on the other side having a complete, fully done renovation addition to the house
Mm-hmm.
with a Four Seasons room or something like
Yeah.
that.
But now keep in mind, this is something that is only for shade. It's not for rain. So you're not out there sitting out there enjoying, you know, a glass of wine or whatever, and and it's raining out. No, no, no. This is just strictly for sun.
Yeah. So
So,
unlike, so this again, this is not the genius on it that can
no.
sustain the rain. This
Nope.
is still, to go back even to what we were saying in our previous
Mhm.
episode about the retractable awnings, those do need to be rolled back whenever the
Mhm.
rainstorm comes on.
Absolutely. And these can be done motorized or manual. And if you want to do it manual, just be prepared to have a lot of muscles, because it's a lot of cranks. You have to like crank it in. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So you want to opt for the motorized. You'll
Definitely.
thank yourself in the long run.
For sure. For sure. All right. This was a
Okay.
really cool picture.
So unlike the other freestanding that you saw where we provided the frame and everything else,
Mhm.
this was a pergola that one of our clients had his contractor build. And
Okay.
so this was a pergola that he put outside by his pool, and he had the contractor build it. And then afterwards, he quickly realized, I'm going to need some shade.
Their pergolas, they look very pretty and all, but they really are not very good in terms of sun exposure or any kind of shading.
No, in order for you to do that, you'd really have to like put the wood planks or 2x4s, whatever, on a pretty severe angle, and it all depends on the sun and everything. It's
Right.
like,
Like, and where
so
you're positioned and how you
yeah,
expose to the western side and all that.
they're pretty, but like, I don't know, do they really function for
Right.
for sun, for sun? So with
Agreed.
this, after he built the pergola, he quickly realized that he wanted a cover. So we
Mhm.
actually were able to make a cover based on the specs of a pergola that was already built. So we
Mhm.
went out there and did a whole template of everything, and
Wow.
we're able to angle it. Yep. And then we also did outdoor drapes for him. So this
Okay.
client also has 2 retractable awnings on his top patios.
Okay.
And so we took the same striped fabric that he has on his awnings and did tie back drapery panels underneath this pergola here.
Nice. Now,
So,
are the drapery panels, they're not motorized?
no, those
Right.
are on a like stainless steel outdoor rod. They're
Mm-hmm.
grommeted. We
Mm-hmm.
got them outdoor tiebacks and everything
Yep.
else. So, and every year we take this down
Yep.
and we put it back up. Same thing, like the drapes, the cover, everything. We put it
Mm-hmm.
on and put it down.
And do you have like some sort of like a bag where you put it all that you've made for them, that you put it all aside
No,
in,
they
or
have
how is it stored?
they have a whole because they have a lot of pool furniture, so they have a whole system, and we fold it up for them, and then they have their grounds people that just kind of take care of all that. So yeah,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah, but we put same thing every year. So a lot of times with these more of these stationary products that aren't the retractable roofs or
Uh-huh.
things of that nature, we it's a seasonal take down and put up every year. So
And actually, I have a question about the Genius awning. Since it's not for the snow, um, do you also take that off in the
nope.
winter?
No, so it's just
It
like
can stay.
it can stay. It can stay because as long as the fabric is retracted back,
Okay.
you're fine. You know what I mean? It's the same way like with your awning being attached to your house.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as it's not retracted out where the
Right.
snow is landing on top of that flat
Okay.
roof surface, you
As
know?
long as it's retracted back, and even if the
Hmm.
snow can get into the crevices, that's not as bad as if it were
Nope.
flat.
No, because in that way it's taking all that weight. So
Mm-hmm.
and the weight has nowhere else to go and it's just eventually going to
Collapse and
collapse.
give in. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. This is very cool. So we actually also have a potential project that is actually
Mhm.
very similar that JC is helping us
Mhm.
with, where we do have the pergola, but we're talking about doing the Genius awning where it's motorized in the top,
On top. Yep.
with doing drapery panels on
Mhm.
3 sides, kind of like the back of very similar configuration. So the back and the sides, but they want the front of it open to
Mhm.
look out into the pool.
Yeah, and we've done that also too, where we have done the Genius awning and then have done panels underneath, just stationary panels, just to make it look pretty, to make it feel more like an outdoor room.
Right, right,
Yeah.
exactly. So everything nowadays is about bringing the indoors out. You know, that has been
Hmm.
around for quite a while. But now that we're
Exactly.
not really going anywhere on any sort of extended vacations or anything exotic,
Yeah.
we're all are trying, and we're seeing our clients really trying to make their outdoor spaces just ever so beautiful and make them into the oasis that
Hmm.
they can be. So they're really maximizing their outdoor space.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, so this is another pergola. This is actually on a high-rise building
Oh,
that
wow, cool.
yeah. So this is someone's like they have the penthouse and it's a
Hmm.
their rooftop patio deck if you want to call it. And they had a pergola already made, but again with the shade and as you can see the outdoor television there. So
Hmm.
this is what you call a pinnacle. So a
Hmm.
pinnacle is it rolls. So you have the guide rails, and then you will have. It's a little different from the Genius awning, where the Genius pleats back.
Yep.
It's almost like a combination of a retractable and a Genius. If the two of them were to have a kid, it would be
This
the
is what they
pinnacle.
would do. They would do the
Yeah,
pinnacle.
yeah. So with this, you can't, it's hard to tell in the picture because we lined it up with one of the planks of the pergola
Hmm.
where the roller tube where the fabric rolls back into the middle so that this way this is 2 bays and it has guide rails and whatnot. So when you roll it back in, it rolls back to the middle and you're always going to have the rails in the front. It's almost like a box
Yeah.
almost. And it's like creating like a flat shade type of thing that you
Kind of like
can
a skylight, like putting a shade in a skylight where
exactly,
you have to have the
exactly.
headrail, you have the
Yeah.
bottom rail, you got to have
And
the rails on the
side,
sides. So you
sides.
create the whole box,
Yeah.
and the shade moves inside and through that
Hmm.
box and then back
Yeah.
out.
So that's what this does here. So this is another option too, if you when you want to shade your system, and this can take light rain. You're not like sitting in the torrential rain that you had a couple days ago. So
Yep. And also this is also motorized. So really all of these systems, they're meant to be motorized.
Oh yeah, you don't, again, you're not cranking that in now. And plus this, so if you have something already like this that's already pre-built, you don't have to worry about, okay, great, now what? There's always, like you said, you and JC are working on a project right now where you're putting a Genius on top of an existing pergola. This client had this whole entire setup built, and he just needed the shade when the sun rotates, and he has the television out there, the outdoor TV. So he wants to get the shade and protect all the elements and whatnot.
You know, the options are just endless, and I think that's kind of, I think, the point of this episode, not to scare anyone and not to overwhelm you with all the details, but just to show what is possible. So whether you have an awning already pre-built, whether you want to have some kind of a semi or permanent structure but not quite an addition to the house, whether you want an awning that retracts back and retracts forward, whether you want to have something like a permanent or semi-permanent fabric roof that you put on in the beginning of the season or take off at the end of the season. All of these options are available to you guys if you're a consumer, and if you're a designer, please know that that's something that you can offer to your clients. All of that is available.
Yeah, so it's bringing the the indoors out, especially with the Genius awning. It's creating an outdoor space, an outdoor room for your patio, especially with everyone being home a little bit more this summer. That's where that is. So
yeah, it's quite incredible, you know, to see some of these structures. I mean, they take some serious skill and knowledge and just expertise and experience to have built it. I mean, this is not just like, you know, putting on a couple of brackets here and there.
No.
Not that I would ever say that about window treatments by any means, but this is some serious construction grade stuff.
Yeah, our guys are on a Genius install right now. We're doing that, and then they also have this client also has exterior shades underneath Genius. So
nice.
You want to, yeah. Alrighty. Nice. So we have a free goodie for you. It's a mini magazine on a buying guide for custom awnings. So you can check that out on our website at windowworksnj.com. So if you want to get to know a little bit more about awnings, head on over there.
And if you wanted to learn even a little bit more about awnings, on VitaliaInc.com site, we have 3 secrets to choosing a perfect awning. So VitaliaInc.com/awnings. Make sure to check it out.
All right, and to keep up with all things Luann and to listen to the audio version of WTF, make sure you follow Luann at Luann Nigara on Instagram, and head on over to her website, luannnigara.com, if you want to listen to previous episodes of Vita and Luann. You just have to type in the search WTF, and all their episodes will pop up.
That's right.
And to keep up with all things WindowWorks, you can follow us at WindowWorks here on Facebook and on Instagram. If you have any questions, feel free to email us over at info@windowworksnj.com.
And for Vitalia Inc., if you are in the Philadelphia area, please know that we would love to work with you. With window treatments, we work exclusively to the trade, and with awnings, anyone who would like to explore the idea of the possibility of awning, please reach out to us. We're always available at, here's my phone number, my email address, and please also follow us on Instagram at Vitalia_Inc. We are here to help you and support you on whatever project you have going on.
All right, everyone. So this is the end of our episode on freestanding awnings. Be sure to check back with us next Friday at 12. All right. Hope you all have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, you guys. Join us next Friday and every Friday at 12 noon, because if it's Friday, it is Window Treatment Friday Live, where Kim and I are here hanging out, talking about window treatments and awnings, giving you lots of eye candy, a little bit of entertainment, and lots of information and good educational details on things that are possible. So come join us every Friday at 12 noon. But until then, have a great weekend.
Bye.